Last episode, we asked whether you'd obey an authority figure telling you to hurt someone. Today, we ask something even darker. What happens when you are the authority? In 1971, a group of ordinary college students volunteered for a simple summer study. In just 6 days, some of them had become cruel enough that the experiment had to be shut down entirely. These were not violent people. They were psychology students, selected specifically for being mentally stable and healthy. And within days, some of them were unrecognizable. Psychologist Philip Zimbardo wanted to understand a specific question. Is prison brutality caused by bad individuals or by the situation itself? He converted a university basement into a simulated prison. Then, using a simple coin flip, 24 student volunteers were randomly assigned to be either guards or prisoners for 2 weeks. There was no script telling guards to be cruel. They were simply told to maintain order. What they did with that authority was left entirely up to them. By day 2, some guards were already using humiliation as a control tactic. Forced exercises, degrading nicknames, and stripping prisoners of basic dignities, like using their own names. Prisoners, meanwhile, began showing real signs of psychological distress. One participant had to be released after just 36 hours, suffering an authentic emotional breakdown. By day 5, guards had escalated to using solitary confinement, sleep deprivation tactics, and increasingly degrading punishments. Extreme measures well beyond the study's original guidelines. Zimbardo himself had taken on the role of prison superintendent and became so absorbed in the experiment that he initially failed to recognize how far things had gone. It took an outside visitor, a graduate student who was not involved in the study, to look at what was happening and immediately object on ethical grounds. The experiment was terminated immediately. What was meant to reveal insights about prison behavior instead became one of psychology's most cited and most controversial case studies. In later years, some psychologists raised serious questions about the study's methodology, including claims that certain guards may have been coached toward cruelty rather than acting entirely on their own. Whatever the exact truth of every detail, the experiment remains one of the most widely taught examples in psychology of how quickly situational power can reshape ordinary behavior. Combined with last episode's Milgram experiment, this study reveals something uncomfortable. Character alone is not always enough to resist the pull of power and authority. Systems, roles, and unchecked power can change behavior faster than most of us would like to admit. The real safeguard isn't assuming you're immune. It's building checks that don't rely on individual willpower alone.